The W Journalism Award for Criticism was given to Nan Paulson for her review of automobiles. This is inappropriate. A criticism award should be given for criticism, which Paulson's reviews clearly were not. After all, cars are utilitarian things, not works of art. And objects that are not works of art do not reveal important truths about the culture that produced them.
Okay, what's our conclusion?
This is inappropriate.
Yeah, and why is it inappropriate?
Because cars are utilitarian things, not works of art, and that's what she criticized. Or
yeah, because awards should be given for criticism, and her reviews apparently are not criticism. And yeah, like you said, perfect. And objects that are not works of art do not reveal important truths about the culture that produced them. So the thing that I got like caught on here was, what flaw do you see here, Tyler? Or maybe not flaw, but like what are we assuming or taking for granted?
Like I was confused why cars weren't works of art, or like where this person got that from. Yeah, and then how that
I felt like this had no support, to be honest. I was like, okay, we're saying that awards should be given for criticism, but her reviews were not criticized, and then we just switch over and start talking about cars not being works of art, and things that are not works of art don't reveal important truths about culture that produced them. I'm like, what? You haven't told me yeah. So what do you think tripped you up on this question? Whenever you read this, did you read it as a strengthening question?
Yeah, awesome. I did.
So we're looking at something, but at the end of the day, we're just looking for an answer choice that's going to strengthen that it was inappropriate for her to be given this award. What would make it inappropriate for her giving this award? Like, how can we connect this piece here to our conclusion / what criticism should be?
Cars aren't works of art.
Okay, so to take that and objects that are not works of art do not reveal important truths about the culture that produced them. So maybe in order to give criticism, the thing has to reveal truths about the culture. Like if that was true, that would show why there was no way for her to give actual criticism. I have no idea that's the answer. That kind of sounds silly in my head, but technically that would connect the two, right? Did Malika or Brittany, did you miss this question?
I did not.
I didn't either.
Okay. So did you guys think about it any differently for your stimulus?
No, I did a similar thing where I was trying to find that like missing piece.
All right. So what answer did you pick, Tyler?
I picked A, but I was between A and the right answer and B.
Okay, so the Warner Journalism Award for criticism should not be given to a writer who portrays utilitarian objects as works of art.
But I can see why. I mean, it's kind of just restating what was already stated in the passage. And it doesn't really fill the gap. Like it's just saying, or it doesn't explain why utilitarian things aren't, like they don't represent the culture, don't reveal something important truth about the culture. I can see why that doesn't connect those 2 points.
A writer who portrays utilitarian.
I had it down to A and B too, but I ended up not going with A because I thought that she wasn't really portraying the object as a work of art. Like she wasn't saying that it was a work of art. She was just giving a review.
Yeah, we're saying cars are utilitarian things. She doesn't. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The writer does not portray utilitarian objects as it doesn't tell us that she actually tries to take the car and then make it a work of art. We have no idea. And then B says reviews of objects cannot appropriately be considered to be criticism unless, my favorite word, the objects reveal important. Hey, that's actually, I did not do this question beforehand. Maybe I have a while ago, but really working on connecting our support to our conclusion in some way is the key to these questions. This is a level, actually, it's a level, actually, it's not that difficult of a question. Where do you think that you just maybe misread the portrays part, Tyler? Or do you think if you would have spent more time on this, you would have maybe been more critical of it?
Yeah, I agree. Like I wanted to choose B. Actually, I think I had B bubbled in at one point. But so like the one thing that always tricks me is principal strengthen questions is now I look at them as entirely strengthen, which I think I should. But I think like, I mean, that doesn't really matter in this context either. And I think like when I looked at B, I was like, oh, that's more of like a principal answer. And then A is more of like A is stated
I get what you're saying. So whenever we say strengthen question, yeah, technically they're all principles. But if this principle was like the gospel, would it guarantee my conclusion? Does that make sense? Like that probably did it. Like the principle, like, yeah, it could be a rule, like whatever rule, and it could be super principle-y. But technically, if that were true, does it guarantee my conclusion? But does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing here, I think that the big thing is if you didn't catch the writer who portrays, that's what made A wrong immediately.